Within the region of the South Pacific, the Maori and Hawaiians are known as fierce warriors as well as an astute people with a unique sense of honor and dignity. However, there are some facts about them that are not exactly known to the outside world. The Maori may have discovered Antarctica. Within southern regions of New Zealand, tribal lore that there was stories of a land covered in ice to the south. These stories had it at the edge of the world. There was a barren land with gigantic sheets of ice as tall as the sky itself. To climb these sheets were extraordinarily difficult, as well as enduring the cold weather en route to the ice at the southern point of the world. This region was inhospitable even for the Maori, and it was viewed as the realm of the gods or of the monsters. No claims of any tribe were really made on these mysterious lands, as well as further travels to the region. New Zealand is one of the southernmost inhabited regions of the world, but in pre-colonial times, even ancient times, the Maori did not reside in the southern regions of the South Island, the southern region of New Zealand. There was sporadic settlement on the island's coasts, and even on the southern tip, there was no settlement. But due to their uncanny seafaring ability, it might have been possible that the Maori have discovered Antarctica but could not or would not do anything about it, and these stories were possibly put into legend to keep the memory alive of them discovering Antarctica. New Zealand might not have been technically part of the British Empire. The Treaty of Waitangi, now considered the founding document of modern New Zealand, was drafted by a Captain William Hobson of the Royal Navy with help from a James Freeman and James Busby. When writing the document, the men had little else to go on and basically drafted this document by themselves with details inspired from other historical documents of British origin. While the writing of such a detailed document was a feat in and of itself, the Maori chiefs in attendance did not question the details in the treaty much at the time. However, native Maori began to reevaluate the document starting in the 1950s and questioned the authenticity of the treaty. The natives claimed that the signatories did not understand what they were signing and were convinced to do so. One claim that is often repeated is that Hobson, Freeman, and Busby had a difficult time translating the document into the Maori language because originally there was no written Maori script, and they would literally sound a word out, then write the speech onto parchment. Modern Maori now say that if they had known what would happen when they signed that document, chances are they would have refused. The document was also basically the go-ahead for New Zealand to be incorporated into the British Empire, and if the claim is indeed true about the circumstances of the treaty, then New Zealand's involvement within the empire might have been invalid. While the treaty in modern New Zealand politics isn't specifically part of the country's current laws, nevertheless, it is still considered the founding document of the country. The ecosystem of New Zealand is unique. When the Maori first came to New Zealand, due to the sheer remoteness of the islands, the ecosystem and natural habitat, as well as the animals that resided within the islands, were among the most unique in the world. Due to the region being settled by humans, arguably the last in the world, so animals with no real predators evolved to fantastic sizes, gained unique abilities, and the environment was untouched for eons. Even after the Maori settled the land, their attitude towards their home kept the environment in pristine condition, and when the British colonized the North and South Islands, they remarked about how untouched and beautiful the land was. The original concept of Maori tattooing. In ancient times, Maori legends spoke about how tattoos were not inked onto the skin, but actually drawn using charcoal and other dark pigments. There was no real desire to ink the skin with the patterns that are some of the most iconic in all of the Polynesian region of the South Pacific. The designs were sketched onto the skin on various parts of the body, but only through war weather, and miscellaneous activities with the designs rubbed, worn, or washed off. This was when the Maori decided that a more permanent solution would be needed and partook in and created the style and concept of tattooing in the Maori custom and tradition. The Maori may not have been the first to settle New Zealand. With some of the Maori folktales about how the islands were settled, they often and freely commented that they were not in fact the first to settle the landmasses now called New Zealand. Ancient legends speak of other people that were already there. Pale-skinned people of blonde or ginger hair with green or blue eyes. As to who these people are or where they came from, only a few accounts are still remembered by the Maori today. These people commented that they arrived from the west, far beyond the ocean. Some now partake this as a vague reference to Europe, but none are sure. These people were assimilated into the Maori by marriage or killed off during various wars or tribal conflicts. There is no real evidence left of these people in modern New Zealand, the ancestral homeland of the Hawaiians. Ancient Hawaiian folklore mentioned that they arrived in the islands from the homeland of Hawai'i. There is no real source as to what or where this place is. Bitter and contested arguments can often arise from the various interpretations of it. What's interesting is that in Maori legend they also say that they come from the same said location. This has led to assume that both the Maori and Hawaiians originate from the same place. Modern Hawaii takes its name from Hawaii, the term Native Hawaiian. No matter who you are within the islands, only people with Hawaiian blood are legally called quote-unquote Native Hawaiians. People of non-Hawaiian descent are referred to and call themselves locals. This comes from the fact that in Polynesia, Hawaii is one of the most ethnically mixed regions. This came out to separate people from who are Polynesian and who are not. The Hawaiian lei. One of the most famous items related to Hawaii is the lei. It's a flower that comes with strict traditional rules. First is that it's impolite to refuse a lei when offered. Second is to remove it or to take it off in front of the person who gave it to you. And third is to wear one that you intend to give to someone else. A lei should never ever be thrown away under any circumstances. Instead, it should traditionally be returned to the earth, ideally to where its flowers were gathered from. Which is why, for tourists, often plastic-looking leis are offered instead of real flower leis. It's also considered bad luck to give a tied lei to a pregnant woman, as this suggests an umbilical cord around a baby's neck. Pineapples and coffee grown in the Hawaiian Islands taste different. Hawaii is some of the most active regions in the world in terms of annual rainfall and volcanic seismic activity. One of the original reasons why Hawaii was annexed into the United States of America was that the pineapple trade was so profitable and the coffee trade so lucrative. It's never been accurately or scientifically confirmed, but widespread belief is that the coffee and pineapples grown in Hawaiian soil taste slightly different. Some would argue that the taste is better than other types of fruit or coffee grown in different regions or in different parts of the world. It has to do with the dirt having volcanic ash within it and deposits from with the unpolluted and extraordinary amounts of rainfall combining to produce a unique and flavorful pineapple crop in coffee aroma and taste. The circumstances of the Hawaiian annexation. Hawaii is actually located at a strategic location in the South Pacific, with comfortable distance between Oceania, with good examples being Australia and New Zealand, and other Pacific islands or Southeast Asia, with good examples being Indonesia and the Philippines. Besides the fruit and coffee trade, Hawaii is relatively close to the coast of California, and American businessmen and citizens often went to Hawaii partly because of these facts. Hawaii was formally annexed into the United States of America in 1898, but the origins of annexation lie farther back with the first attempts in 1892. Hawaii before that was its own kingdom, and before that still was various smaller chiefly kingdoms. The American government did a lot in that year of 1898, not only annexing Hawaii, but also obtaining the Philippine Islands, Puerto Rico, and Cuba from war with Spain. Though the American government made plans to give the Philippines, Puerto Rico, and Cuba its freedom, the United States of America saw the strategic value in keeping Hawaii, and even going a step farther if America needed to invade Australia from Britain or Southeast Asia from other colonial European governments. To this day, though the American government has apologized for the toppling of the native Hawaiian government and annexation of the Hawaiian Islands, attempts at Hawaiian efforts to declare independence or secession from the United States of America for Hawaii to become once again a free and independent state or republic or even kingdom are very much discouraged.